Welcome. This is the third speaker series that we've put on this year for the 23-24 school year. Tonight's topic is going to be on net safety. As a parent of three, I know myself, I've seen the changes that have happened with social media, with the way our students interact with one another, with those that they might not know. And tonight, to give us a presentation and I think even an in-depth look behind what's happening in social media for parents and guardians, we actually have members of our student body, along with middle school counselor. I was going to say superintendent there for a minute. That would be me. School counselor, Miss Erin Lambie. She has put this presentation together along with Dr. Welk, our middle school principal. And we hope that through the course of this evening, there's going to be some questions that I'll ask that we'll share with the group. That this will be something that will help us to understand better what our families and specifically our students are encountering when they are on their phones, on their computers, when they're with one another, and they're in their own rooms. So I look forward to this presentation. With that, I'm going to pass the mic off to Ms. Erin Lambie.
All right. So digital citizenship and responsibility is something that I'm very passionate about teaching as a school counselor. I do teach the Common Sense Media curriculum within our 6th grade academy classes, and we also have guests that provide the NetSmarts program within our buildings at all 3 levels. And so today I'm using the NetSmarts presentation that is available to every family member online at the NetSmarts website, which will be provided to you, and I have links to be provided online as you're viewing this presentation as well. So pretty much we're going to talk about internet safety today, and the goals and the topics of this presentation is pretty much having open and supportive conversations about healthy relationships, accurate information, and red flags with your children. We want to help guide our children to learn how to report, know what trusted adults they can seek, and to be an upstander whenever they're facing cyberbullying situations. So the NetSmarts program itself was created by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Their mission is to find missing children, reduce child sexual exploitation, and prevent future victimization. But the NetSmarts program itself online does have programming for children ages 5 to 17 to help teach them about how to make better choices and become responsible digital citizens. So pretty much just think for a moment about what your kids do online. What types of websites are they using? What media sites? What games are they playing? Are they using Google to help them with doing their homework? Are they playing computer games on PlayStation or Nintendo 3DS that they're able to communicate online with people that they don't know in this virtual world that we live in today? Are they downloading music, watching videos on YouTube? So there are so many different activities that kids do online, whether it's something that they're doing on their own computers or friends' computers, school computers, laptops, cell phones, gaming consoles. And the best way to protect your child is to have meaningful, open, and continuous conversations that teach them and help them to develop critical thinking as well as rejection. How to say no to unwanted solicitations, to social and behavioral things that might guide them into making poor choices in their life. How can we teach them to build problem-solving abilities and develop healthy relationships? So technology itself can't catch everything. That is why it is so important that we are constantly communicating with our children. Technology is constantly changing all of the time. So throughout this presentation, you're going to hear that the most important prevention tool is to have open and continuous communication with our children. We want to start having conversations about safety as early as possible even before children go online. Having open and ongoing discussions about boundaries, healthy relationships, empathy, consent, rejection, and healthy development is going to help to create a solid foundation between you and your child, so that when you have more difficult conversations in their lives, they'll be able to have more meaningful discussions with you and practice those skills over the years. Ask them questions like, what is your favorite app and why? Who do you talk to when you're playing games? What kind of pictures do you like to post? What are the games about that you're playing? How do you play them? What are the things that you like and don't like about the games? How are you feeling after being on social media? How do you know your friends on the games or the social medias that you're using? And what do they talk about? Conversations must be continuous with genuine curiosity to strengthen your relationship with your child. Kids need to know that they can trust you. Kids really want to hear about these issues from parents and caregivers. So I have a little video here to share with you that's going to talk about just that.
Child's perspective, growing up with somebody like yourself. For parents, it's a huge thing to have the ability to just listen and have an open dialogue, because at the end of the day, children don't have anybody to ask about how life works. They're just thrown into this crazy world, and they have no idea how to interact with it and interpret it. And they need somebody like a parent, whether it's their parent or somebody else's, to help them learn that and understand that. And if you're not providing that to your kid, they're gonna have some problems online, right? It's just the name of the game.
So talking to our kids about online risks is important. It's not necessarily that they're definitely going to get into trouble, but they still have a lot of risks that they need to consider. Talk to them about inappropriate content, online privacy, online enticement, sexting, sextortion, and cyberbullying. You might not think that you have to worry about some of these things, but it's important that the kids are aware, that your children are aware of what dangers and risks might be out there in this digital world. Talking about these risks at a very young age is important. So maybe for younger children, we're talking about etiquette, right? We're talking about how to have a good foundation about issues like cyberbullying. And then maybe, as they turn into teens or tweens, we're talking a little bit more about the specifics of cyberbullying. We want to teach them about what is appropriate and inappropriate content, so that when they're teens and tweens, we can talk to them about the dangers of sexting. We want to talk to them about not trusting everyone you meet online, so that when they become older, they're very cautious about meeting people that they met online, offline. Remember that the skills your child needs to practice safe behaviors online are skills that are built over time. Would any of our students like to kind of share a little bit about maybe some conversations that you've had with your parents that have helped you to become good digital citizens, and anything on that topic that you guys want to chime in about?
Just, my parents always made sure to have a my parents just made sure to always have a private account when you first started getting stuff, because middle school especially is when you start getting Snapchat and Instagram and stuff like that. So it's important to be safe right off the bat and make sure that your password's a good password and your account's private, because stuff like that happens all the time where people can hack into your stuff and steal.
And definitely definitely don't trust anyone that you meet online, which that sounds so cliche, but that's something that my parents so clearly, so many kids are just so naive nowadays, and they just think, well, yeah, but of course they're real. Why would someone lie to me? Because they haven't, it almost takes going through a bad experience to realize that it's not, but we just don't want the bad experience in the first place. Don't trust anyone you meet online. I've heard several times where it's kids in situations would be in this case, they go to Trinity, but have you seen them there before? Have you met them? Do you know they actually go there? You don't actually know.
Yeah. Even when it's something like
something like Trinity. Like, it's like so easily like, oh, I go to a school around you. Sure you do. Like maybe you used to 30 years ago.
Exactly.
Are you able to hear my voice? So, yeah, can you hear my voice right here? Because if so, then Nate can see. Yeah. You can hear me from here? A little bit? So, instead of you having to get up, like if you guys want to think that, we can either do one or two things. We can actually have you move here, which probably makes the most sense, or just speak up. It's up to you. Yeah, well,
Come on over. We'll have a little powwow over here.
These two chairs here.
Excellent. While you guys are moving over, I'm just going to move on about why it's so important to start these conversations at a young age. Obviously, you want to build a strong relationship and foundation. You want to build trust with your children. It'll be more comfortable talking about uncomfortable topics in the future when we actually start having those conversations when they're younger. Obviously, we want to help develop our child's critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Ask them those what-if questions. Well, what would happen if this happened? What would you do if that happened? And support your child's development of resiliency over time. And these conversations will help your child to stay safe both online and offline. So let's talk a little bit about inappropriate content that sometimes can be online that children are exposed to. So inappropriate things your child might encounter online, it's just because the internet opens up an entire world of information and images of maybe you don't want your children to see it, but it's out there. So pornography, excessive violence, hate speech, risky or illegal behaviors are all different things that can be just found online without even looking for it. So being a trusted adult is important. A trusted adult is someone who listens without judgment or without shame. They're going to help to take action, such as making a report or blocking content. Remaining calm when a child reaches out for help with a problem, both online and offline. A trusted adult helps children to identify other adults in their life that fit these characteristics. Sometimes, and it's okay if your child does not want to talk with you, but have them talk to somebody that they trust, that they encounter on their daily life, whether it's a teacher, their school counselor, a coach, a family friend. Respect their boundaries, and also we want to be kind. We want to be kind to yourself. It's okay to have strong emotions, but try to remain calm. So kids can definitely feel very uncomfortable talking with their parents, even though that they trust them. It's just a hard thing to do. Did any of you want to share a little bit about talking with your parents and how challenging that's been to you guys over the years? Or
not from like personal experience, but like I know some of my friends, they have like talked to their parents, and they've just like said their parents like freaked out on them because the parent was like, well, you shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. But I think a thing that parents really have to understand is that, yes, the kid, like, it is their fault, they did make the mistake, but you also have, like, this is giving them room to grow from their mistakes, and while they did this and it was bad, now they definitely know not to ever do it again. So maybe don't, like, put all the punishment on them, because that just makes them not trust you even more.
I love the learning experience, and that just slides perfectly into this slide. You know, we don't want to frighten our children. We want to stay calm, and we want to listen to them. And some of the things that might happen aren't going to be your fault. You know, it wasn't your fault sometimes if something popped up or someone sent you something, but then how you handle that situation, they might need to guide you through it and support you through it. So very good. Thank you very much. So what could you do? Obviously, if there is inappropriate content, tell your child to turn the screen off. Use the back button. Tell a trusted adult. Report it to a website or an app. And there is a cyber tip line that is also linked into the handout for the presentation today that will be available to you online as well. And this is the nation's centralized reporting system for online exploitation of children. So it's a great way to be able to make a report online if there's anything unsafe that's happening. know how to check privacy settings. Make sure that, kids are very cautious about not having public information out there, so that maybe only friends can comment on their posts. Their location services are turned off. Anything like personal ads or marketing is turned off. Make sure to review these settings regularly as well whenever you're installing new software updates, as privacy settings can change over time. And learning how to report and then block users is essential as well. And do that together with your children. Inappropriate content that can be available online, such as illegal behavior, offensive language, threats of violence, and hate speech. It's an important prevention tool to have a relationship with your child, to be able to talk with them about this type of inappropriate content that might come up. Be specific with them about how to handle that situation, or what they think about it. So for example, if your friend Jennifer sent you an inappropriate picture of your classmate Nancy because they're fighting, you resend the picture and it gets distributed at school, how will Nancy feel when she finds out other people sent her image around? What do you think will happen if you ever have a post or a picture online that you don't want other people to see? And how will you affect Nancy? So have those kind of conversations, realistic conversations with our kids. What's really important to talk about is what is okay to share and what is not okay to share. I kind of want to hand this over to our kids again about what you guys have learned over the years when it comes to pictures, whether it's pictures of family and friends, personal information, conversations with people that you might have only known in an online game. How do you know what's okay and what is not okay online? I'm going to put you on the spot. All right.
So, really when it comes to, I'll touch on the conversations with unknown people in an online game. I play video games a lot, so I've talked to a lot of people that I've never met in person before. I think the big thing is that I always know is, okay, as long as I don't tell them anything personal about myself, they know my gamer tag, they don't know my real name. They don't know any personal information about me. They don't know where I go to school, what state I'm in, anything like that. So I just always tell myself, if I keep that confidential to myself, they don't know anything else. They know my gamer tag and what game I'm playing with them. So that's really what I do, just to keep it private. And then I also always know, okay, there's an option. I can block them, get off, not deal with them anymore. It's a big tip of advice I always give people with anything online is, hey, there's a power button. There's a home button. Get out of there. Do whatever you need to do with that. So that's really what I do when it comes to conversations with unknown people and personal information too. Don't tell anyone it, even if it's a family member on social media. If they want to know your personal information, they can call your house. They can call you personally, mail you, email you personally. They really want to know it that bad if they need it. So don't just give it out to them if they message you on Instagram like, hey, what's your social security number? Hey, why don't you just text me and we'll figure that out some other time. So other Nate, you have anything?
Yeah, so talking about posting pictures online, if you're posting a picture of you with somebody else, you have to make sure that the other person is comfortable with being posted. I know somebody whose dad worked for a government job where his family couldn't really be posting the online pictures. So he was on a team that I was on, so we couldn't take pictures with him and post it. Just team photo is all we did with them, nothing private. You can't, personal information, can't post anything like that. That's all I got.
Well, Nate, you actually went right into our next slide, which is personal information. So obviously wanting to teach our children about, how to set up passwords, making sure that they're not sharing their home address. Geolocation might be okay with family and friends, but obviously we want to be cautious about not sharing that with people that we aren't close to, right? Being careful with sharing your email address and your phone number, just as Nathan said. So we obviously want to protect our children from some of those potential risks that could be online, whether it's hacking, identity theft, online enticement, cyberbullying, online scams, whatever it might be. So what can you do to do that? Obviously, we can establish rules, right? What can you share? What can you not share? Teach them how to report, help them with setting up privacy settings. Every app, every game, every different thing that they are doing online is going to have different privacy settings. So learning them, reading them together, and setting up those privacy settings together is important. Helping your children to create strong passwords, talking to friends about who their list of friends are that they are sharing information with, but then also just creating a safety plan. You know, what would you do if this happens? So that we can prevent things like online enticement. So online enticement involves an individual communicating with someone believed to be a child over the internet with the intent to commit a sexual offense or abduction, and includes sextortion. So this happens quite frequently online. How do they occur? Most of the time on social networking sites, right? So kids as young as 9 years old are getting inappropriate solicitations. You know, we want to be cautious about saying language like stay away from strangers, but we also need to teach kids that appropriateness of, you know, who is a stranger and what is a stranger versus, you know, if somebody is just playing an online game innocently, right? But we do want to teach children how to have healthy relationships as well, and to recognize red flag feelings, anything that's going to make them feel bothered or uncomfortable online, so that they know what to do. They have those trusted adults to talk to when those types of situations happen. Offenders also groom children, and grooming happens in a very similar way online than offline. Definitely something to be cautious of as kids are using online material. So if someone is grooming a child online, they are probably attempting to flatter them, send them gifts, discuss inappropriate adult subjects. They might ask them to keep secrets. They might turn them against their family or friends, share or ask revealing images, blackmail them and make them feel ashamed or guilty, or ask them to meet face-to-face. So try to be aware of those signs of grooming. If you notice your child, you know, calling unknown numbers or rejecting their family and friends, getting upset when they're not online, teaching them to minimize their screen time, and if they're receiving gifts, that's a huge red flag. What could you do? Talk to your child about relationships. Set a policy about meeting offline or for older teens. Know your child's online friends. Teach your child the warning signs. Call the police, and then obviously report to the cyber tip line. So we're going to take a look here in a moment. That kids are capable here. This is an example of a 15-year-old who made a report about inappropriate behavior online. So remind your children that even if they are not bothered by an inappropriate comment, they should still report it to keep the internet safe for other people. And again, that cyber tip line is here and will also be available to you online with this presentation. Sexting is another concern that happens frequently with children and with teens. So research suggests that 19.3% of teens have sexted, and 34.8% of teens that they have received a text message, whether it's something that is verbal or through pictures. So why are they doing it? Sometimes they're doing it to be funny, maybe to impress someone, maybe it's because of peer pressure, maybe they're experimenting with relationships and with boundaries. So I have another little video here that talks about your photo fate.
You probably get lots of messages every day, but what if you got one like this? What would you do? Would you send a picture? No? Cool. That's an easy way to protect yourself. But what if you'd chosen differently? anyone else, right? Do you want the picture shared with others? Sorry, you no longer have a choice. It's out of your hands now, because sometimes people we trust break that trust. Maybe the person you sent the picture to shows it to some friends. Maybe they send it to a couple friends, who send it to a couple more friends, who, you get the idea. It spreads, and you never know who might see it. Your little brother, mom, other people at school, even strangers can get a hold of your picture. You never really know where that picture will end up. How long it will be out there, or what the consequences will be. Don't let others decide what happens to your image. Think before you share. Learn more at netsmart.org. And hey, if your image is already out there, know that it's not your fault. For information about removing sexual pictures and videos from the internet, visit missingkids.org/gethelpnow.
And there is a handout within the packet today that will also be available online about a website to help take down any type of inappropriate picture that a child might be placing online prior to it, hopefully prior to it being shared. So that will be available as well. Consequences of sexting obviously can result in a child being very humiliated, being bullied, being blackmailed. There can be police involvement and school discipline involved with that as well. So again, start these conversations early, give real life examples, try to continue to have those discussions about healthy relationships with your child, talk about ways that images can be spread and not to reshare pictures. Sextortion is a form of child sexual exploitation where children are threatened or blackmailed, most often with the possibility of sharing with the public nude or sexual images of them by a person who demands additional sexual content, sexual activity, or money from the child. This crime might happen when a child has shared an image with someone, so that is something we want to be cautious of. So what do we do in these situations? Well, we don't want to comply with the demands. It doesn't mean or guarantee that the offender is going to stop. They can still ask you for more. Report it to the app. Don't delete the account because you could be deleting evidence that could help your child to stay safe. Obviously, we want to report it. We can go to the missingkids.org website or to the cyber tip line. So we're going to transition now into bullying and technology, which is cyberbullying. So about 45.5% of middle school and high school students have been cyberbullied, and about 14.4% admit to cyberbullying others. So examples of cyberbullying could be sending someone mean texts, photoshopping or altering a picture to embarrass someone, creating fake profiles to post mean information or images, posting fight videos online to embarrass the person who lost, spreading rumors or gossiping online, sending threatening or harassing comments, harassing someone and forcing them to do something humiliating or harmful to themselves or others, or stalking. So unfortunately, this is the world that our children are living in today. You know, it's a very different world than a lot of us grew up in before there was internet and social media. Bullying ended at 3 o'clock, where it doesn't end for them. So what is the difference between bullying and cyberbullying? Well, the cyberbullying follows the children home. It's going to spread faster and it has a much, much wider audience. So here are some risks of cyberbullying and what it can cause. Obviously, it can cause a lot of anxiety, depression, low self-esteem with children, isolation, and even things like substance abuse can happen. So would any of you guys like to share a little bit about any experiences or anything that you can give to parents about what a victim of cyberbullying could do? So like if you were being cyberbullied, what would you do? If you were a victim, what would you do and how could you handle it?
So really my thing with any type of, it doesn't have to be really cyberbullying, it could be normal bullying, anything like that. It's always, okay, I can get myself out of that situation, right? If there are some kids messaging me a bunch of stuff and I don't want to hear it, right, and it's hurt my feelings or something, all right, I'll just block the kid. It's that simple. I mean, it's 2 buttons, he's done, I never have to hear from him again, right? In person, somebody's making fun of me or something, leave the room. Like that's kind of what I always say to myself, like it's really, you have 2 choices in that situation, fight back or try to de-escalate the situation and leave. And I always tend to go with the second option, de-escalate, leave. Okay, the other kid might come at you for another 10 minutes after you leave the conversation, but then they're going to forget about it, you're going to forget about it, and you're going to be fine. Compared to if you try to fight back, okay, now both of you are involved, now it's 10 times worse. Now you feel like, okay, I responded, he's going to respond, now I got to respond again, right? So that's really what I do to kind of avoid any form of bullying, whether it's cyberbullying or regular bullying. And then if it's, you know, if, for example, if you wanted to, some people feel like they need to respond, to stop you from responding, think, okay, I don't know what's going on in that person's life. I don't know what they're going through. I don't know what they've been through. I don't know any of that. So don't say anything. And think, you didn't like it when they said something to you, so don't say something back because they're probably not going to like it. So that's really my 2 rules with any type of bullying. So, you have anything?
Well, my thing, I know we talked about this whenever we were going over this, but a thing that kids really don't understand is me, especially whenever I was a kid. If somebody said something to me online, in person, whatever, I thought that it was the end of the world. I was like, oh my gosh, this person said this to me, my life is ending. I was wrong. It doesn't matter that much. But like middle school especially, things get to their heads. Like they're growing up. They are hearing things all the time, 24/7. Now especially like so many middle schoolers do have phones. They really are hearing things 24/7. Like it's not just at school. It's not just where, like it's 24/7. So they just really, like, you have to really put it in the kid's head that, like, there are ways to go about this. And most things that are happening aren't going to be the end of the world. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Recollect yourself. And most of the time, like, kids do want to respond like Nate said, but it definitely takes a lot of maturing to realize that. But the best thing to do is just take a deep breath, like recollect yourself. Just first off, just get out of the situation, and then recollect yourself before you say something that you don't mean or anything like that, because it just don't get involved in the first place.
Just like how regular bullying is that bullies do it to get a reaction out of you. That's like a big thing. They want to see you get upset. They want to see you get angry. They want to see that you are being affected by what they're saying. So make it like, even though it could be hurting, it needs, for them to stop, you need to show that you're bigger than that and you know that they're wrong about what they're saying and that you're better than that. And it's just more of like, be bigger person, because obviously they are not. So you do have to, like, walking away is a good thing, and like not standing up to yourself in a bad way, but just showing that like you don't affect me, like you are not going to ruin my day because you did this, and it does help with that.
Anybody else? Those are all excellent, excellent words of advice. Thank you so much. So I think really, you know, obviously as parents, we want to pay attention to those signs that our child might be a victim of some bullying. And here are some signs that we can kind of look for that was up here as the kiddos were talking about that. But talk to them about, you know, what is a cyberbully? What is a victim? What is a bystander and what is an upstander? Supporting your child, obviously we want to stay calm. We don't want to downplay the incidents, but we want to talk with them about how to handle them. We want to, you know, consider, you know, their choices. Let them try to come up with some of the answers. Help them with how to block cyberbullies. Set up new accounts if they have to. Talk to the school if it's something that's trickling into the school day or that can cause a safety issue in the school. And then again, report it, right? So support your child and solve the problem together. That's pretty much the key, is having those healthy relationships with our children along the way so that when cyberbullying situations happen, we can support them through it. Cyberbullying behaviors, you know, maybe someone is quickly, if you think that your child might be a cyberbully, they're quickly switching their screens or closing a program. Maybe they're using their computer at all hours of the day. Maybe they get unusually upset if they can't use their computer. They might avoid discussions about what they are doing, or they're using multiple online accounts. So those are some things to look for if maybe your child could be involved as being the bully. And how to prevent it, monitor and intervene with your child's online behavior in the same way that you would with their offline behavior. Again, establish those expectations for online and offline behavior, set consequences, and just modeling, right? Modeling good online and offline behavior as well. Talk to your child about being an upstander. So how can they be an upstander, right? How can they make a report if there's something that needs to be reported? Encourage them to stand up for the victim. Use assertiveness skills and strategies. Help them report the cyberbullying to an adult or a teacher. And talk to your child, too, about not forwarding or reposting anything that could be mean or inappropriate. Rumors spread very quickly, and social media and technology is an easy way to make that happen. So here are some tech options that we could do with our children. Just for some safety, we can install filtering and monitoring software. We can consult our cell phone provider, research different options for mobile devices. We can look at individual apps, explore the built-in security features. I know for myself, I use Google Family with my children, and that helps tremendously with being able to monitor what apps they're using, their ability to be able to download. They have to have a password in there to be able to download anything. I have time restrictions set up for my children. So just being familiar with what options are available, whether your child has an Apple, whether they have an Android. And then if there is maybe something a little bit more secure, like a software that you are interested in installing. So pretty much we want to connect with our kids, right? Set those ground rules. We want to research everything in technology and engage with our children about those safeguards. So NetSmart, again, this is where this presentation is from. There are many activities, ebooks, games, and videos available on NetSmart's Kids that can help you with keeping your children safe and teaching them how to maintain that safety. And I'm going to skip through this part, and we're going to get through the meat and the potatoes now, because I know this is the part that the kids are really excited about talking with you about today. So we're going to go into talking about some commonly used apps with youth and with teens. So I'm going to start off with one that is around gaming that was suggested for me to put on here by Mr. Nate Romasan, and this is Discord. So Discord, this is what it looks like. I'm going to link out to it here for a moment. Here we go. So this is from the Shape the Sky website, and yeah. Oh, it didn't pop up over there, did it? Maybe, do I have to slide it over, maybe? Okay, so let's just talk about it. That's okay. What Discord pretty much is it's an app that's rated for 17 plus, for age 17 up, and it's used with gaming. So can I pass it on over to you, Nate? Okay, you could talk a little bit more.
Yeah. So I use Discord, I wouldn't say a whole lot, but I definitely use it often. It's really meant for gaming. There's a lot of different things that users can do with it. It's like, a way to put it, there will be something called, I think it's just like a channel overall, and it's basically just like picture an iMessage group chat. But then in this channel, you can use, okay, you have voice channels, so, and you can have as many of them as you want. So I'll just say, let's say there's 10, right? There's 10 voice channels you can use. Then there's different, you can have different chat channels and everything like that. So I'll use an example. I play video games a lot, and I'm in a lot of different groups for them. And one of them I play at a competitive, not like competitive level, but at a higher level. And so to be able to communicate with people, we use Discord. Discord's our way to communicate. There's different channels for everything. Different voice channels where you can go in there and just, there's some where you can go in there and just, you know, talk about random stuff, whatever we want to talk about. There's some in there that are for like, okay, we have a game coming up, boom, let's talk. Like, this is our like serious, okay, we're using this for when we play the game, right? So Discord offers a lot of different ways for gaming to really communicate. If you don't game, Discord's not going to give you any benefit, in my opinion. The only benefit I see is that it allows you to also stream your screen. So if I'm playing a game and, okay, one of my friends who maybe doesn't have the game or somebody wants to watch me play, I can invite them into the channel. It's just us two. They can watch me play the game. We can sit there and talk. They're just watching me play instead of maybe playing the game. So that's really what I have to say at Discord. I trust Discord a lot. It can be sketchy here and there. I would say if you're using Discord, make sure you're only joining groups and channels with people you know. Like every channel I'm in with people I know in person. Like everyone, I know them face to face. I could be able to say their name and know who they are. So that's my biggest recommendation with Discord.
Question for you, wasn't Discord the channel where military secrets were shared by young gamers in Virginia?
What was that? Was it 4chan? I don't think it was Discord. It might not have been Discord. I don't think it was Discord. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I don't think it was Discord. If it was Discord, I never experienced anything like that. Yeah, so with a voice channel, how it works is, think of a Zoom meeting. Everyone can join in whenever they want. Anyone can leave whenever they want. The only thing with a Discord voice channel is there's no, like, invite code for it. If you're in the total group, you can join any voice channel you want to join, whenever. Now, the thing that can happen is the owner of the server, or people who the person picks to, like, be co-owners and, leaders in that, can pull people, remove people, do whatever they want to do. So they have full control over, if they don't want people in that voice channel, they can just pull people out or block them from it or whatever they want to do with it. So that's really how the voice channels work.
So I know this isn't popping up over here. However, we actually have it on our parent resources page already, a website called Shape the Sky. And there is a gentleman by the name of Ryan Klinging-Smith who is the owner of this website, who posts different app reviews. And so I'm going to read for a moment a post from Ryan Klinging-Smith about Discord. He actually has an article in here by the National Center on Sexual Exploitation that describe how Discord can and has been used to groom youth as well. So it is something that we want to be cautious of, because even though it's specifically used for gaming, there are quite a few people on Discord that are not using it for gaming. Remember that your child is going to have, Discord will have access to your child's camera. They're able to connect with strangers. There's definitely cyberbullying opportunities on Discord, and the ability to send inappropriate messages and collect users' information. So those are things to be cautious about Discord as a whole. So what I've noticed is that many of the times, the app recommendations that are provided aren't always the same in agreement of what parents feel would be there, I'm back, okay, would be what the recommendation for an age would be. So a lot of times parents are a lot more lenient about what age they're allowing their children to use some of these apps. So it is important to make sure that we're taking a look at what apps our kids are using, what they're rated, and what kids are doing on them. So the next one is Instagram. Does anybody want to talk about Instagram?
So Instagram is definitely one of the most popular ones on this list that we will go through today. Snapchat is very high, especially for like middle school and high school. Instagram's more of like anybody. You can see like adults more on Instagram too, but not on Snapchat. So Instagram does have privacy features. I'll say that right off the bat. You can make a private account on Instagram. Instagram is also very big on hacking if you have a public account. I have known several people, and actually in the past week, one of my friends had somebody make an account, pretend to be her, and post photos, because she had a public account. They screenshotted the photos she posted and made a whole other account pretending to be her, posting those photos. Now, we sent it out to people, everyone reported the account, it did get shut down, but that is such an easy thing. Like, she didn't even realize it was up there, and all of a sudden it was like a friend recommendation was herself, and she was like, this is not me. You can get text messages where people have been hacked. I noticed for a second, our friend Nate here, I got a text from Nate one day, and it was not Nate DMing me on Instagram. Yeah, Nate, I'll let Nate go more into that. But there is, and that's the thing, Instagram is very popular, and there's so many people on there that it is very tricky to not know when somebody is somebody else. If I would have saw my friend's Instagram account, I've been like, oh, maybe she had a new account, and I probably would have followed it. They would have DM'd me if not knowing if she didn't have been hacked. That could have been a dangerous situation where I could have been next. And Instagram also has a lot of, like, their DMs where you can instant message somebody and you can send somebody videos. And that could also be dangerous because you don't know what the photo is you're clicking on. But yeah, people, just like how you can get random text messages with like a link, you can get that on Instagram. It's just important to know to never click on those links. And then Nate, you can talk about your experience.
So I have a public Instagram account, I'll be honest, but it's for college reasons and, job opportunity reasons. I leave it public because I'm trying to find a roommate, and it's an easy way for them to be able to contact me and me be able to contact them. There's an Instagram page that you can meet all the roommates that are in your class. But anyway, some random person, I have no idea who it was, made an Instagram account. The exact name is me. Everything was the exact same. They put one more R on my last name. They put one more R. And then they took a picture of one of my posts. That was my profile picture, cropped it down, made it their profile picture, and then messaged, I don't know, probably 50, 60 of my people that I follow, asking them for money, saying like, hey, I'm in a tight situation. I need like $100 so I can get through this. And I remember it was actually, I want to say one of you two texted me.
I did.
Gia texted me, was like, do you really need $100? Like, are you in that? Are you in that big of a pickle? Like, and then I probably had 20 other people text me, and luckily we all reported it, all blocked it, and Instagram took action fairly quickly, actually, like the same day it was down. So, yeah, that's the experience I had.
Also, just to go off of, like, what Nate said, anybody can look you up on Instagram. If you have a private account, they can't see your account. They can only see your profile picture and your bio. But that's just a little reminder. I know probably not in middle school, but maybe middle school, I don't know. But if you don't have a private account, if you do have a public account, watch what you post. Colleges can look at that. Any, like, workplaces, they can look at that, and they could, like, somebody could literally not hire you on a job because they see what you're posting on Instagram and they don't like it. So definitely just be very, like, if you're a parent, watch what your kid posts on Instagram, because there are, like, features where, like, obviously you can take posts down, but you just never know, and it could affect your kid a lot later in the future.
Thank you guys so much. So even though, Instagram is rated for children ages 12 and up, We know that there's definitely a lot of security and privacy that we should assist our children with if we're allowing our children to use it at a younger age, correct? Would you guys agree with me on that one? Okay. All right, next up is Snapchat. Who wants to start off? All right, Nate?
So, I mean, a big thing with Snapchat is you can add random people. Like, I don't know a lot of the people I have added. And friends of my teammates, yeah. They're friends of my teammates. Yeah, I mean, and you can send anything, and anything you send can be saved. It can be saved to your camera roll, sent to someone else. And another big thing is SnapMap. If you allow Snapchat to have your location, other people can see where you're at. That's a pretty big privacy concern. Nate?
To ask a question about that?
Yeah.
So with the mapping location, but that's only if you give them access to follow you, right? They just can't.
Yeah.
Friends.
Yeah. You have to add each other. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a feature where you can, like, make it so certain people can see it and certain people can't. Like, so you can have it public, but have these certain people blocked. So, personally, mine is not on, but it is.
But I guess just to make sure that I'm understanding, so if I have a location available, I don't have any type of block on it. Someone from the outside can just happen to randomly come upon me.
No.
You have to have added them back.
Yeah. And it's only when you're on the app. So if I am at the school and I open Snapchat, I don't have mine on, but it would say that my Snap person is at the school. If I go home, don't go on Snapchat for the rest of the night, then nobody can see that I'm anywhere but the school. So you can't see your location anywhere but when you're on the app. But still, I don't use it.
It's very particular too. It'll be like what's at this place 25 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like because it
Yeah.
knows the last
Yeah.
time you've been on it.
Yeah.
Is that the only app out there that has a geolocating feature?
There is geolocation on a lot of different apps. Yeah.
I don't know if any of these
Not these ones, though, in particular, but Hoop maybe, I'm not sure.
I don't. Oh,
Because Hoop is a part of Snapchat.
Hoop
Yeah.
is.
We'll get on Hoop at some point.
The one good thing about Snapchat, I would say, is you choose who your friends are. So as a kid, you are definitely more naive to be like, oh, this person's name's Gianna. Oh, that's my friend Gia. Might not be your friend Gia, but you get to choose who you're friends with. If someone sends you a friend request, if you don't know them, don't respond. If it's your friend, meet up with them and say, hey, Gia, is this you? Yeah, it is Gia. Okay, accept her friend request. But if it's not, it's really easy to block somebody or unadd somebody, but you definitely have to watch because anybody can really add you. So you just have to watch, just don't accept any weird requests or anything. And I guess you should be good. You can get hacked on that.
Snapchat is, I will say, the main thing where you will see children's inappropriate pictures go around. That is the main one where you need to be careful because Snapchat is like you send a photo and people say, and then it goes away. You can't see it again. But there is a feature where you can save the Snapchat in chat, and it's not like they're not allowed to screenshot it too. Like you can screenshot anything off of your phone. So it's not safe, even though it's like, oh, the snap will go away as soon as they open it. No, it doesn't anymore because it's developed so much that they can save it, they can screenshot it. You can even it's called a remix, and you can remix it and post it on your story. It's just not.
Yeah. There's also like many people use Snapchat because they're like, oh, it does go away in 10 seconds. But there are multiple hacks. So on Snapchat, it tells you when somebody screenshots it. So if I'm on my phone and I open Nate's Snap and I screenshot it, it'll say, Jolynn screenshotted your Snapchat. But there are ways to go around that. So you may think, oh, well, the person didn't screenshot it because it didn't tell me. There's multiple ways to go. Like if you swipe up and it's still there, there's multiple ways to go about that. So even if it might not say somebody screenshotted it, somebody can definitely still get your pictures without you knowing, especially too.
And you also don't know who else is in the room. Like,
Yeah.
like somebody could be with their friend and be like, "Oh, take a picture of this," and they would take a picture of it. Anybody?
You know, I've seen it. I want to say I've almost seen it all happen on Snapchat. I'm graduating just from high school. Like, I'm 19. I've seen almost everything that can happen on Snapchat happen. Like, I mean, any type of drama I've ever seen at school, it always goes back to, oh, this kid posted this on Snap. This kid sent this in our Snap group chat. Like, anything I've ever seen, been in that group chat where it happened, like, it's always through Snapchat. Like, it's always, that is the root of the problem, is Snapchat. Now, I think it has benefits to say. Like, I mean, if you have...
My most used app.
Yeah, it's probably my most used app, but I use it in a pretty safe way. I mean, I text probably the same.
Most used? I
Yeah.
was asked that question.
That's probably my most used.
I'm more of an Instagram person. I'm not, so Instagram has a feature where you can watch videos like you're on TikTok. I'm not allowed to have TikTok. So it's like, Instagram has like everything for me. So,
I mainly, Snapchat's probably my most used, but I've definitely, like, I know how to use it. I know, like, we have a group chat with our friends, and, like, that's really the only way we communicate. And, like, I feel like, especially, like, teens texting is not that big of a thing.
Did you have one that you use most commonly?
Oh, Instagram.
Oh, Instagram? So two.
Yeah.
So, but this is a follow-up to, you talk about communication as being a huge part of what draws you to me. So, would you say that you communicate with your friend group more through these type of apps than you would a phone call or a text?
100%.
I would say, yeah, probably.
No.
No.
How do you communicate most?
Probably just by text.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for you guys, you're saying.
yeah.
Definitely.
Me and Joey are a friend group of 6, and we've used the same group chat for the past
2 years.
Yeah, our friend anniversary just happened, and so it was
When you can see when you created the group chat, our friend group really only uses Snapchat. I know that, like, a lot of my friends, we just use Snapchat to talk. I don't even know why. I just don't really, like, I'll text my family more, obviously, but for friends, I definitely, like, talk to them on Snapchat the most. I don't know why.
positively say that our age group would message most on Snapchat.
Yeah.
It's like all their
I think that's because Snapchat, when you text on, like,
Everyone
Snap, it's
has
so much more, like, of laid-back texting than if you text. If I'm texting someone on iMessage, it's probably going to sound a little bit more formal. There's not going to be, like, IDK and all that stuff. Like, I'm going to type out, I don't know, or things like that on an iMessage. But then on Snapchat, I'm going to use all the abbreviations. I'm going to text them really, like I'm talking to them in person, compared to if I'm, texting them in a more formal setting. So, we spend a lot. Are you on again?
And another big thing with Snapchat is, I mean, it gives you, like, easy access to people. Like, I know someone who, through Snapchat, someone that he probably doesn't have a phone number of, but, he said some pretty bad things to that person, started to get a little heated. It's like, that wouldn't happen over iMessage.
iMessage is definitely more private. Like, giving somebody your Snapchat is a lot more lenient than giving them, like, your number, I feel like.
Yeah. Snap.
Because, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. If somebody asked my Snap, I wouldn't really question it.
People don't ask for your number anymore.
They ask for your Snap.
My daughter, who's a sophomore, said,
Yeah.
It's like, bro, what's your Snap? Can I get your Snap? That's what it is now. Hey, can I get your Snap?
I mean, I've never really thought about that. I don't know why. It's definitely, I feel like, just...
I think it has its pros and its cons.
Yeah.
I think its
if you
cons...
know how to use it correctly, it's definitely, like, a pro. Just because it is, like, in our age group in teens, it is the most communicated on the app. Like, I don't know anybody really without Snapchat. I don't think I know anybody without Snapchat.
Like, I'd say... Yeah, we can get up to Snap, but I'll wrap up Snapchat for us. I think Snapchat it's definitely the most controversial up here. Maybe besides TikTok. I mean, TikTok probably rivals it, but Snapchat probably wins the rivalry every time. But I think the pros and cons both clash to a point where if you know how to use Snapchat, if you're smart, if you're just a mature person, Snapchat's going to work for you. Now, if you're someone who's going to try to start problems, who's going to cyberbully, Snapchat's going to be your biggest problem. So it really depends, I think, on the user, how the user approaches Snapchat, and then what the recipient on Snapchat, also how they handle the situations they're put into. Because, again, Snapchat's great for, if you have people that have Android and people that have iPhone, group chats with that might not work. Snapchat works perfect every time. It's going to be perfect for both parties. So I think Snapchat can be very beneficial, but also can be very terrible.
Next, Send it is a pretty.
So obviously, we know that most people use Snapchat, and we know that that is how kids communicate these days, and it is something we do need to be very cautious of. So again, creating those conversations with our children about digital responsibility is important so that when they are using apps like Snapchat, that hopefully they're engaging in it in more positive ways instead of more harmful ways. Because there are a lot of harmful things about Snapchat. I know as a school counselor, that's where I see, like, most of the cyberbullying and most of the issues, you know, occur that it starts on Snapchat. So Send It is a part of Snapchat. It connects with Snapchat. Do you guys want to start off with that? You'll probably explain it far better than me.
It's not that big of a thing. So Send It was definitely more of a thing in middle school.
I think it still is.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't talk to middle schoolers, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it would be kind of weird if I had a bunch of 13-year-old friends. But Send It, it's connected to Snapchat. Basically what you do is you can create a Send It and attach it to your story. And the Send It could say, ask me anything, ask me yes or no questions. It's just like basically ask me questions. So anybody that you send it to, if you post on your story, any of your friends can slide up and say anything to you anonymously. You can't find out who is sending you what. So the person could send you absolutely any question at all. They could say, I've seen some wild Send Its. They can ask you absolutely anything. The biggest thing is you don't have to respond to it. So basically, you post it on your story, and then people ask you questions, and you respond to their questions on your story. I mean, I don't know why this was a thing in middle school. It just was. It was like, it's just weird. It's anonymous people sending you anything. They could cyberbully you through Send It. I'd say just avoid it altogether. It's really
for the parents, it's kind of like an anonymous interview. Like you're being interviewed by your friends, but you don't know who's actually the friend saying stuff. So like an example question could be like, they could just say like, hey, they can say you're ugly, say hey, but then they can ask you like, oh, do you have a crush on this person? You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer it. It's like an interview. If you don't want to answer, just be like, oh, nothing. Like I'm not going to tell you. But no.
Yeah. Trying to understand why I would even open myself up to that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a question that is, I'm going to get anonymous. I mean, I know it's my friend group. Yeah. Which then probably would take me off if someone saying something bad, you know, from my friend
like,
group.
Tell me who you are. You're gonna... Yeah.
Like, you're opening yourself up to things you don't even need to. That's terrible.
I think the good thing is, Send It is kind of dying off. Yeah. Like, I don't even know the last time I've seen a Send It on one of my friends. Because we're getting older. I don't know, is it still a problem in middle school?
I remember it in middle school.
I remember in middle school being big, but then like now I don't see them.
I know one person that uses it, and they are a previous student at this school. They don't go here anymore. But people send the most crazy things. She is a little, I don't know how to put it. Yeah, she, I feel like likes to, like, not, what's the word? Yeah. She likes people to, like, ask her things so that she could, like, put herself out there, I feel like. So, I would say just avoid it altogether. I don't think it's a good app.
Whoever's using it,
it's very easy to avoid.
Yes.
Don't do it. Literally, just don't do it. Most kids.
One up here to avoid.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to
Yeah, you can, I think that Send It's its own app.
Yep.
So you can have Send It and not have Snapchat. But most people use it with Snapchat, but you can send the link. I could text Nate the link, and he could send me an anonymous message on Send It, but then obviously I know that I just sent it to Nate. So if I do get an anonymous message, I think I might know who it is. But it's really easy.
So bottom line, anything that is anonymous is going to be misused. So let's go ahead on to TikTok. I know you guys were excited to talk a little bit about TikTok for a moment. So who would like to start off with TikTok and what TikTok is? We know that, sure.
I don't know TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, I have TikTok. I'd say it's probably my least used social media website. I'm laying in bed, 20 minutes to kill before I, truly want to fall asleep. I'll watch a couple TikToks. Why not? I think I use it. It really, like I've said for all of them, it's user heavy. It picks up your algorithm. So whatever videos you watch more and whatever accounts you visit more is what it's going to show you. So like mine, I'm getting NFL top 10 plays of the week. I'm getting big moments in a video game. I'm getting all these things I'm into. And so again, I use it. It's not heavily used. From what I use it, I just use a For You page. So it's just things posted by random people that I can see. It's kind of like Instagram. You can just scroll through random people who you don't know and see their posts. And that's all I have to say about TikTok. Jolene, you can probably explain more about TikTok than I can.
The only thing I can say about TikTok, I have never personally had a problem with TikTok. I know the only thing is if somebody has a public account on your For You page, it just gives you any kind of videos. So I guess you could really see anything. I don't think I've ever gotten anything
It gives you a
inappropriate.
warning too.
Oh yeah, if it's something really bad, let's say if it even has a dead animal or something, okay, Grey's Anatomy. Sometimes I'll see Grey's Anatomy clips, and if it has they're in surgery, it'll say it'll give me a warning, and I can either continue to watch or I could just scroll away from it without it blurs the screen. So there's that. The only thing is if you're posting on TikTok, it's just like Instagram, people can comment. That's really the only thing that I would think would be the biggest concern is seeing something inappropriate, or if you are posting, I don't really post on TikTok. I mainly just watch TikToks. It could be you could get caught up watching them. That's maybe a downside.
Yeah,
you can definitely I definitely am I'm just gonna go here for 10 minutes. 30 minutes later, I'm okay. I need to. I have a time limit set on TikTok. It's only an hour a day, and I'm no more than that because I just need to cut. I need to cut it off. But if you are posting TikToks, just like any other app, watch what you're posting, because if you can make a private account, so not everybody has to see it. You can also, if you have a video, you can make it friends only. So the video, if you have a public account, the video will only be seen by the people that you're following back.
Does TikTok have the ability to edit videos on that, or do you have to have the video already edited on TikTok?
So I think
I'm not sure. I don't really make TikTok.
it can depend. I've never made a TikTok, but I've seen them be made before. If you're doing one of the dance trends, the song's on there, you just make the video, it's posted right away. Now, if the stuff I watch, it's clips from a podcast, clips from something, so the person has to go in there, get the clip, edit the clip down, then post it. So that's what I.
By the way, Nate, you just brought up a bad word in school. It's for families, trends.
Oh, trends.
All the TikTok challenges.
Oh yeah.
Permeate.
Yep.
And again, I would suggest probably for middle school and upper elementary.
Yeah.
These challenges, by the way, in school.
So
we had that challenge happen a few years ago in our restrooms.
The devious look. Yep. That was annoying. I just wanted to wash my hands.
Right. No, those are
Yeah. I think the thing with a TikTok challenge is just realize the people doing it, they're already famous, so they're just trying to do it to get more famous, and the chances of people do those types of things to try to get, you know, the word we use as kids, clout, and try to get big time from it. I always just think, like, it's just stupid. Like, it's more so like you're going to look like an idiot. That's, sorry for, it might be a strong word. Idiot might be a strong word, but, like, that's what you're going to look like.
Whenever I was in middle school, it was like the 2020 TikTok, which I feel like is much different than the 2024 TikTok. But the 2020 TikTok, it was a lot of dancing. It was a lot of Charlie D'Amelio dancing, which could get a little inappropriate sometimes, especially for middle schoolers. Like, these adults on TikTok are doing these dances where they might be shaking their butt. You're 12 years old, you don't need to be doing that. Let's not do that actually and post it online. Because it's so easy to just follow a trend like, oh, it's just a dance, it's just a dance. Maybe don't do that.
This is really kind of steering away from TikTok, but I feel like we should say it to the parents. Everything that we're saying that's bad can easily be reinforced.
Yeah.
Like with TikTok, okay, check what your kids are posting. On their page, it'll show what videos you've posted on your profile page. So you can see what you've posted. So if you're a parent and you want to see what your kids posted, get on their TikTok and it will show you what they posted. And even if you don't want to do it through their phone, download TikTok yourself, look up their account, you can see what they've posted, everything they've done. Instagram, you can do the same thing, see what your kid's posting. If you just follow them, now you're seeing everything, right? I mean, you can't see their direct messages that way. That's where you really would have to take their phone probably and sit down and look at it with them. And then Snapchat, it can be a harder one to reinforce, but it's definitely reinforceable. It's, again, just with it deleting after a certain time period, that's where it gets hard to reinforce it. So, I mean, if you make it a daily thing, you make it a daily thing. But, yeah, the big thing would be make sure to watch your kids are friends with, exactly right. And Discord is the same thing. Go on there, check it every, once a week, every other day. Check it just quickly. You don't have to dig deep into what, if you want to dig deep into what they're saying exactly and read all their messages, go ahead. But just see the big picture, see who they're looking at, what all they're doing, and go from there. But I felt like we should have, because everything's based like towards the students. It's good the parents a little bit too. I don't know what Tor is.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. My biggest concern with TikTok is with the younger kids. It's what they're exposed to, and obviously if it's just not being monitored. If a parent does allow your child to have it, it is an app that is rated, 12 and up, but to monitor what your child is doing, to know what kind of videos that they're posting, and because there is a huge cyberbullying component on TikTok as well, that is definitely something to be cautious of. So I'm just going to go through Tor real quick. So Tor is just simply an app web browser that allows access to the dark web. So you can't get to the dark web on Google or Internet Explorer or Firefox. You would need a browser like Tor. So if you see something like this on your child's phone, that is something to be aware of. And then I'm going to move directly over to Hoop. I know you guys said that you really don't see Hoop a whole lot anymore. Quite honestly, I don't a lot either. However, because there is a big connection to Snapchat, I thought it would be at least important to bring it up. So
I know nothing about it. Basically, Hoop, just don't let your kid have it. That's my advice. So it's the biggest thing, Hoop, is pretty much the same thing. I think it might be on the other side, Yubo. It's Yubo and Hoop. They're initially the same thing. They're advertised as, do you not have any friends? Download this app. And that seems kind of enticing to a young middle schooler who may not have very many friends. They're like, oh, well, I'm not really connecting with anybody at my school. Maybe me and my friends are fighting. Let me make some friends online. No. So basically, it is Tinder for minors. It is basically just a dating app. You literally swipe left or right on. It's literally Tinder for minors, and it's supposed to be towards making friends. But you can change your settings to make it a dating app. Basically, you can change it. I can make mine only males ages 17 to 18. I can literally use it as a dating app. I don't, because I don't know, it's just weird. But on Hoop, if you do match with somebody and you become friends with them, they can instant message you, you can instant message them. Yes, it's point blank period. It's Tinder.
Point blank
It's
period.
Tinder for
yeah.
minors.
Yeah.
Cause I think I don't know what age you have to sign up, but I know Tinder you have to be 18.
And that's exactly
You
how
can
it's described as Tinder for.
Yes, it's Tinder for children. They
They don't check it.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I don't know Twitch. I've never used it before. But that's it. Just don't let your kid have
Don't let your
hoop.
kid have hoop.
That's it.
If
If you see it, hoop or Yubo, delete it.
Yeah,
Just
no,
delete it.
Don't download it.
It's literally just Tinder for minors.
It's the biggest red flag up there.
That's yes, 100%.
Biggest red flag
That
up
was
there.
a question I had, like, also.
Biggest red flag up there. In my opinion. Oh, she's gonna give you Twitch.
So Twitch is like live YouTube, basically. So it's a live feed of somebody who could be playing video games or doing a game outside, but you can actively like comment and stuff on that person's profile. For Twitch, there's like levels where you can be like pay for like more, where you can, no ads and stuff like that. But it's more of like people can comment stuff, and while it's quick, you don't know how quick those comments can go out, and then you also don't know what's being said. Like it's like any YouTube video. YouTube videos can be pretty inappropriate. It can get to that level. Especially on Twitch, there are like some more inappropriate like videos going out, like people trying to get money, so they're wearing certain items of clothing. Like that's a big one, if you know what I'm talking about for that. But personally, I have Twitch. It's just more of the like watch videos like quicker, because there's people I watch on YouTube who don't post all their videos on YouTube, and there's just like all of the content on Twitch. But you just have to be careful, because there also is a way you can send messages like most of the apps. So you could become friends with them, but even if you're not friends with them, you can send messages on Twitch, which is not a very good aspect of it. Because somebody could see you commenting on somebody's feed, and they're like just clicking on you, and now they have like your account. So on Twitch, you can also do your own videos, but you can also have a profile picture and information, just like how Instagram has a bio. Twitch, you can have a bio too. It's live YouTube is basically what I'm getting at. Is there anything else I'm missing with that? It's not terrible. It's just like YouTube. You just got to be careful, because like YouTube, you can't send like messages like that.
And it's mostly about online gaming.
It's mostly watching gaming, but like I said, there is some where like you donate money. So then you find some people on there who are looking to see some videos and will donate money to see more of those videos. Anybody?
Twitch is a big, like, again, like we've said for all of them, it's user heavy. Like, I use Twitch to watch, listen to podcasts. Podcasts are big on Twitch. What I've found about Twitch has always been popular. It's been popular since, like, YouTube's been popular. But recently, I don't know if it's been, like, it's hit a big spike recently. A lot of, like, the biggest YouTubers and influencers are on Twitch now. Like, I'm sure you guys have heard the sketch, Tuesday. He's on Twitch. What's up, brother? He came from Twitch. He is huge on Twitch. He came from Twitch. So many big people are on Twitch now. And Twitch can work hand in hand with TikTok too, because people are taking clips. Yeah, it's like if I'm a Twitch streamer, and I'm playing a game and there's a big moment, something cool happens, I have people called mods. They're my chat mods. They're people who I trust, they monitor my chat for me, so I can play the game, and they can make sure, okay, inappropriate content's not being in my chat, things like that. Then I can be like, clip that. And he's like, chat, clip that. And people, I'm not kidding you, it sounds weird to say, but people who you've never met will clip a clip for you and send it to you. And then post it somewhere so you have that clip. So if I'm playing and something cool happens, oh, chat, clip that for me, clip that. They clipped it, done, they'll send it to me. It sounds weird to say, but like,
They do say clip.
they say clip it. They say clip that. That is what they say. And then it goes on to TikTok, and the person who they'll get, like the influencer from Twitch, will now get money from Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like,
It's
yeah,
more of a money making.
it's a money-making app for gamers. But it makes them bank. I'll say that. But for a student using Twitch, we should get back to really that part of Twitch. I think Twitch is, she had made it sound like Twitch was safe. I'd agree. It can be sketchy. What I use it, knowing what to say. On Twitch, I never comment on a stream. I will never leave a comment. On YouTube too, I never comment on a YouTube video. So, except the fellas, which are just a friend group we have here. But with Twitch, just if you just watch videos, nothing bad will happen. And if you watch what you're into, nothing bad will happen. If you're a parent, it's just like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Look at what your kid's watching, and you'll be able to go from there. Like it's that simple as Twitch. I don't know. Do you know Confide? Confide, do you know?
I can touch on Visco.
Okay, do you want to go to Visco and then I'll go to Confide? Okay.
Visco, I would honestly say Visco is one of the safer ones. The only reason that I would say that it would be the safest, the only thing about Visco is there is no privacy feature. So on Visco, you cannot private your account. Your account is just open, so watch what you post. But there is no liking, there's no commenting, there's nothing. So like you can post something, nobody can comment under it and say, I don't like the dress you're wearing. Nothing. You can't do that. You can like favorite an image. So if you become friends with someone, you can favorite an image, which is kind of similar to liking it, but like you can't see who viewed your post and who like you can see who like favorited it. But really the only thing is that it's Instagram without commenting. I guess it kind of has liking, and then there's just no privacy feature. So really just watch what you're posting on there. A lot, like I mainly post it for like big events. Like if it's like, what?
Well, no, I'm just surprised now the volume of ways in which you guys communicate.
Yeah.
So you use this go.
Yeah.
Use this.
Yeah. Snapchat and TikTok.
So like, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
So you graduation's coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So are you finding yourself going to like teach apps?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So on Visco, it's mainly
vibes for each app.
Yeah. So Visco is mainly kind of like, look at my life, I'm living such a cool life. So like
Visco girls.
yeah. So like Visco girls, they like would post things like, look at this beach vacation I'm on, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, I wish I was at the beach. But it's mainly like I really only post like important things where I'm like, oh, like I want people to see that I graduated. Like I want people to see my cute graduation pictures or like things like that. Like some people post like selfies and stuff, which is like fine too. It's kind of mainly just to be like, here's me. You're good. I don't know.
Doing the exact same thing on other apps.
Yeah. Instagram. Okay. The difference between Instagram and Visco. Instagram, I don't post very often on Instagram. I only post making a post like for really important things like prom, that's a post. Like maybe like a senior post, graduation, that's a post. But on Visco, I might post like me at the beach because like, oh, look at this pretty sunset. I wouldn't post that on Instagram because I'm like, who cares about my sunset on Instagram? But maybe. I don't post on my public story on Instagram. I don't think I've posted in probably 4 years. I only post on my private story. That's another thing. Private stories on Snapchat, not sorry to get back to Snapchat, but on Snapchat, you can make a private story with any one of your friends, and you could, like, limit it. So I never post on my public account, but I post on my, like, private story that has, like, maybe 30 people in it. So, like, even people that I'm friends with can't see my stories.
And that's the way, like, if your parent has, like, Snapchat, that's the way kids try to, like, hide it.
Yeah.
Because they have, like, a private account.
Yeah. I just do it because I don't want, like, there's some people that I have on Snapchat that I know, but I'm like, I don't want them to see everything that I'm posting, necessarily. Like, just because sometimes I'll post, like, a sunset or something, I'll, like, be like, hey guys, me hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I like this goes more, like, aesthetic photos. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
sunsets and look at my food.
yeah, like, food pictures. Like, I'm on a car ride with my friends and stuff like that. Visco, I don't think I've ever seen any bullying or harassment or inappropriate. It's just not that, well, it depends on the people, like, personalities, what pictures of themselves they would post. But, I mean, if that's not your friend group, you're not following a bunch of random people on Visco. It's mostly to see, like, your friends. Like, I probably only have 6 friends on Visco.
I might have 4.
It's not, Visco, I believe, is genuinely a very good app.
Yeah.
Besides the fact, no bullying, nothing. I don't think it's, like, a cause, you can't message anybody.
No.
I think it's,
The only thing,
The
only thing, just to, like, close on Visco, the only thing is, maybe that might, like, I know middle school drama, if I post a picture with Gia and Nate sees and he's like, oh my gosh, Gia and Joey hung out without me, maybe that.
Nate gets jealous like that.
Nate gets jealous. So maybe, like, I don't know, maybe just be aware of, once again, it's
kids can idealize a little bit
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
where they see just those perfect pictures all of the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
It's definitely.
Visco can work hand in hand with Instagram. A lot of people, girls particularly, will put their Visco also in their Instagram bio. So that's just one thing I've noticed. But this is really from Slamby. I think what we should do once we finish with Confined, Link, and YouTube, we've been talking about, like, pros and cons of the apps and, like, explaining how some features work. But I just talked to the other Nate. We should go back maybe and just quick, brief, like, 15-second blurb. Okay, what can you do on Instagram? Just straight up, what can you do? That's it. And just know, like, pros and cons of what you can do. Just that way now parents can skip to a certain point in the video and say, okay, I can learn about just this app just really quickly.
Well, I'm glad
Big
you
picture
brought that
idea.
up because all of this information about all of these apps is linked into the presentation as well as it's on our parent
Perfect.
resource page.
Okay.
So I'm actually, if I can point out right here, it's linked into Shape the Sky, the app guide, as well as the Common Sense Media app guide. And these are 2 really good links to look at as parents whenever you're looking at what apps to allow your child to use. And another thing that's really important for parents as well is when we were talking about privacy settings and we were talking about setting up those parental controls on their phones, is you can set up parental controls that your children cannot download an app without you putting in a password. And you can also set it up that they cannot use apps that are over a certain age level, so you can restrict that age range on their phones as well. Those are things to think about. I'm going to skip over real quick to YouTube about that for a second, because, you know, same thing with YouTube, you know, even though they have the restricted version of YouTube and you can set the restricted account on it, I personally, as a parent, my kids don't have access to YouTube at all on their phones, because you never know what's going to pop up. You never know what they're going to search. You never know what they're going to see, even on restricted mode. So I only allow them to watch YouTube on the family TV where I can see what they're watching. So I know you guys had a lot to share about YouTube. We can skip to that one if you guys wanted to talk anything else about.
The only thing, this isn't about YouTube, but I don't know about Android or Samsung, whatever, but on Apple, as a parent, you can set a screen time. So on your kid's phone, it'll say, like, oh, you're allowed to, like I said, I have screen time for TikTok because I don't trust myself. So my screen time for TikTok's only an hour. So you could say, oh, I'm only allowing my kid an hour for Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. And then it'll say, like, you've reached your screen time. And then and then you can create a passcode so like don't share it with your kid, obviously, that they can't reach the app without having that passcode. So if you're like, oh, you know, maybe you were good today, you can have an extra 30 minutes on Instagram, you can enter the passcode, and obviously they can get more screen time for like, it does every 15 minutes, it'll like remind you your screen time's ended. So yeah.
Thank you. Real quick, Confide is just an app. It's rated 4 and up, but it's a confidential messenger with end-to-end encrypted self-destructing and screenshot-proof messages. So that could be a potential hazard as well for children and with cyberbullying as well. And then Wink is the last one I have on here. Did any of you guys want to talk a little bit about Wink at all or no?
I don't know Wink.
I will pull Wink up and I will talk about Wink. Okay. Well, I'm kind of glad that you guys don't know what Wink is. So it's rated 12 and up. And there is some, you know, profanity and things used with it, but it's a social networking. It's an ability to connect with strangers. There's cyberbullying opportunities on Wink. They can get inappropriate photographs pretty easily and be enticed pretty easily on Wink as well. So it's just another social media website that is rated 12 and up that should probably should not be 12 and up. Okay.
Looking over your shoulder, it seems like it's another like U-Boba app and
That's exactly yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna skip through here too. I know that when we talked last week when I met with the high school students, they said you have to bring up Omegle, and even though Omegle was shut down, Omegle has a lot of different alternatives, and so I put that on this screen, and these are all different apps that are out there where people can talk to strangers, and they're very, very dangerous, extremely dangerous. So this is definitely something. All I did was a Google search, and I searched for Omegle alternatives, and this is what came up. So there are so many of them out there, and it's just something for parents to be aware of because obviously everything that we talked about, you know, earlier with sexual exploitation, sexting, and pornography, you know, this is where the kids are finding it. So, okay. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Omegle? I do want to say, like the worst one is definitely Omegle. I don't know if you want to say anything. Basically, you just go on there and you video chat with people, and it's like it's like on a computer, and they can see you and they can see you and you can see them, and there's like a chat too, so they could type in the chat and say like, hey, like show me something, and then or this is the worst part, so you can just click next and it brings you to another completely random person. There's no friends or anything on there. It's just completely random. So it could be anybody from probably even different countries, not even the US. So you click random, you could see absolutely anything. You could see inappropriate things. You could see some people are on there to just talk, but most of the time that is not what they're on there for. Avoid at all costs. This is definitely the worst.
Yeah. There's not even like accounts. So like somebody they could be doing something very bad and get like taken off. They just go open another browser, open it back up, keep doing it.
Yeah.
I
don't even know if it's an app. Like,
no,
it's
I
a browser.
do want to say out of all of these, I do remember seeing Monkey before.
Yeah.
Monkey is a backup for this game, and it is very similar, and I would watch for that because this is definitely like the mini Tinder is really bad, but this may be worse just because there's no stopping this. Like there's no way of avoiding
seeing anything.
At least on
Yubo or Wink or whatever, you like swipe, you have some kind of control. This, nothing. Yeah. Completely random people, live video, doing whatever they want to do. It's them, like it's you live, them. It's basically FaceTime, random people.
There's no content filter.
No,
but you can
nothing.
I'm trying to remember. I think you can add like personality, like you're into video games and stuff.
Yeah.
You're into
use, like common hobbies.
Yeah, so like you could be like a kid and putting all these like kid stuff down, and then some like 40-year-old man is putting down all these kid things, and then you get connected to that. It's not safe whatsoever.
Well, I just want to end a little bit with talking about gaming, because gaming is something that is also very widely used amongst youth. Obviously, you know, so much of that gaming now is online, but we have to, again, set up those privacy settings, know when to report users, and when we're having conversations, keeping them focused on the game. There's a lot of things that is not part of the game that could be interacted with and conversed about online when you're talking, again, with strangers. So these are things to be aware of with our children. And then I've linked into here, too, some of the popular games that are used amongst youth, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto. And what I found really interesting when I was looking at these, now even though Fortnite is rated, I believe it's 12 or 13 up, but, you know, yeah, sure, there's a little bit of violence. There's the building component. A lot of the game isn't awful, but it's, again, that talking to people that could get very dangerous sometimes and just inappropriate. Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, what I thought was really interesting, too, is I know that they're very fun games for kids. They like to play them. Obviously, they're not appropriate with the violence, you know, the pornography, the other types of things that can go into these games. But also, in addition to that, it's just that online communication with other people that can be very, very inappropriate. But what I found really interesting when I went on Common Sense Media, and this is linked into here, so parents, please take a moment when you guys are at home to view these videos on here and view the, you know, the reviews that it gave. The parents are rating this acceptable for 13-year-olds to use. And I know that even when I was in the elementary school as a school counselor, many parents were very accepting to allow their children to play these games, which are inappropriate for even high schoolers. So just something to be cautious of. I am not going to go into detail about all of those games because they are linked into here, and we are out of time, believe it or not. You guys did such a great job. So I just want to take a moment to thank, you know, we have Nathan Clark, we have Nate Rumison, we have Jolyn Zielinski, and we have Gianna Bloom, who came here to devote their evening with us today to talk about all of this. Do you guys have any other final thoughts or anything else you want to share before we end today?
Any pearls of wisdom, I think, bring back to the next point. So first off, I appreciate your insight. I mean, my goodness, I've been an eye-opener as a parent, as an administrator, at McGuffey. Is there anything else that you have the opportunity to speak to parents that you do right now that you would want them to know or be aware of, or what to look for, or anything from put your parent hat on, be that parent, or even think that your own parents.
Yeah. We can just go in a line.
So, I mean, I think it's really important as a parent to know who your child is friends with. I mean, we are shaped by the people we're around, by our environment. I mean, just knowing who their friends are and, like, you know, what they do, how they act, super important.
I think really first when your kid's downloading an app, sit with them through the privacy settings. I mean, it's boring because you don't really want to sit there and look at the privacy settings. It's like reading the agreement terms at the bottom of some website. So I would sit there and look over with them and really evaluate everything. And then on the gaming part, like what Ms. Lambie was talking about, as a parent, it's your choice what your kid plays and what he doesn't play. But if your kid wants a game, talk to him about the game before he gets it. My parents, every single game I've ever bought, they've at least sat with me for 10, 15 minutes and said, okay, what is the game? Show me a little bit of gameplay of the game. What are you going to be playing? And things like that. And monitor your kids often. So that would say too.
Yeah. I would probably just say, like what they said, definitely watch who your kid's friends with, watch everything that they're doing online, and also just like we touched on this earlier, but just to bring it up again, like, be kind to your kid. Like, that's obviously your parents. But just, like, don't immediately be like, no, absolutely not. You're not doing this. Okay, maybe for the Tinder apps you can say shut those down quickly. But I know a lot of parents are concerned about Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram. Maybe, like, I think it's better to, like, just hear your kid out, you know. definitely know you're the parent, you know the kid. If you really don't trust them, go with your instinct. Don't let them have the app. But I think that you really just got to hear them out, just because nowadays parents don't understand, like, these are our main communication apps. So while they're like, oh, Snapchat has so many cons, it has so many cons, but you also have to look like that's really the only way, not the only way I communicate with my friends, but it's the main way that I communicate with my friends. So you definitely just have to look at both sides. You have to look from a parent's perspective, but you also have to kind of tune in to your child's perspective too and see why. Like, why do they want this app? If it's for bad reasons, don't let them have it, but if they want it to just talk to their friends, maybe consider it, and definitely go over those privacy restrictions, and always monitor what your kid's doing online.
I definitely believe that screen time needs to go down in a lot of like middle schoolers. It is genuinely just not good for you. I wasn't allowed a lot of screen time. I won't go into that because I don't want to say I don't recommend it, but so when I was in middle school, I was not allowed phones Tuesdays or Thursdays. I have an older sibling and a younger sibling, and that was it. It was just no cell phones Tuesday, Thursday. It was like a break day. It was a day to relax. It was a day to be with the family. And that kind of went away as my brothers graduated. I'm a senior, my sister's a junior. But we still do a thing, and I do recommend this a lot. And while I'm a senior, so it's 11. So I have to have my phone plugged in the kitchen 11, away from me. So that way I can go out, I can read a book, or just like relax before bed, and it just gives me time. And I think like shutting video games off early, it is proven that if you should not be on your screen 30 minutes before you go to bed. It'll make you sleep better. It'll just make you feel better in the morning. And I do think just like relaxing that. And also when I was like younger, it's good not to be on your phone like as soon as you wake up. It's bad for your eyes. It's just more of you need to relax into your day and be careful, because sometimes like we're talking about, the stuff you see on there isn't good. So that's not a way you want to start your morning or end your night where you can't sleep after seeing some stuff you don't want to see.
Yeah,
but with what you said about like getting off electronics and like the internet and stuff 30 minutes before bed and 30 minutes when you wake up, for a long time I wasn't like that. I was like, I'd get off Xbox, go brush my teeth, go to bed. Like, it was like that back to back to back, and even play on my phone before I'd go to bed actually. And then really it was towards the start of senior year, I saw a study about it. I saw a couple podcasts talking about it. I was like, okay, I'm going to try it, just see if this is actually true, or see if they're just kind of, putting false information in my head. I slept 10 times better. My grades were better than they were when I wasn't doing that. My mental mindset, I want to say I've never really had like a terrible mindset, but it just completely increased. I was more confident than I've ever been. I felt way better when I did that. So I would 110% recommend doing that. It sounds like such a simple thing, but it makes a world of difference. And I actually picked up reading because of it too.
And I would definitely another thing that I feel like is definitely targeted towards middle school towards that is, like, maybe not so much in high school, but middle school was the most dramatic time of my life. So doing that, like, even just like being like, okay, no phone after 11, if you're fighting with your friend or whatever, that, like, like we've said, like, if you're in an argument, you might want to, like, spit back, whatever. Like, being the parent and taking their phone at 9, that, like, physically removes them from the situation. That just takes it away from them completely and is like, okay, like, send your final text and them taking your phone. That way, like, they're probably going to be a little mad at you, whatever, but it removes them from the situation, and it's just so much better for their mindset, because it's so much better, like, when you are in an argument or you're in drama, if you just, like, look back and you, like, collect yourself, you're like, okay, maybe, I was going to say this, but, maybe I'm not going to say that now because I've had time to reflect. And that's definitely just, whether the kid likes it or not, it removes them from the situation.
Yeah. You guys just were awesome. You were phenomenal. You should really be very proud of yourselves. I know that you're going to have a phenomenal future as well because you're smart. You're smart about you know, what is important in life and making good decisions. And I can tell that you all have very good parents. So, and maybe a good school counselor along the way at some point in time as well. But I just want to point out as well before we end, the parent self-survey would be the list of questions I would suggest. Just take a look at the parent self-survey, see what do I do well, what could I do better, and how could I learn how to do that, and call me if you have questions.